Hey, coin collectors and history buffs! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, the 1983 USA half-quarter dollar and its circulated value. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your coin journey, this video will give you everything you need to know about this coin, from its background to how much it's worth in circulation. So, if you found a 1983 quarter in your pocket change or your collection, stick around, this one's for you. The coin we're talking about today is officially called the United States quarter dollar, commonly known as the 25-cent coin. The half-quarter dollar isn't a common term, but some people refer to the quarter as half of a half dollar, making it half a quarter. For clarity, today we're focusing on the 1983 quarter, which is part of the regular circulation series. This coin features the classic Washington quarter design. On the front, or obverse, we have the profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The design was created by John Flanagan back in 1932 and has been in use with some modifications ever since. On the back, or reverse, you'll find the iconic eagle with spread wings, perched on arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing war and peace. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1983 quarter special and its value in circulated condition. Diameter, 24.3 millimeters. Weight, 5.67 grams. Mint marks. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver. In 1983, the U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters across Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of these coins were meant for everyday use. So many are heavily circulated today. But despite being common, some collectors are curious. Does that mean these coins have any real value? The short answer, if your 1983 quarter is in circulated condition, that means it has been used in everyday transactions and shows signs of wear. It's generally worth face value, which is 25 cents. That's because the metal content in these coins is mainly copper and nickel, not silver. So their intrinsic metal value is close to their face value. Uncirculated or mint state $0.50 to $2, depending on grade, error or rare varieties. Potentially higher, depends on specific errors. However, if you have a high-grade uncirculated 1983 quarter, maybe a coin that never made it into circulation and has a pristine finish, those can be worth a bit more to collectors. Prices typically range from around 50 cents to $2 depending on the coin's exact condition and if it's graded professionally. Also, keep an eye out for any error coins. Sometimes the mint accidentally produces quarters with double strikes, off-center prints, or other anomalies. These errors can bump the coin's value significantly, sometimes hundreds of dollars if the error is rare and well-documented. To really know the value of your coin, professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your quarter, giving you a clear idea of its market value. So, to sum it all up, the 1983 USA quarter is mostly common in circulation, valued at face value in circulated condition. Uncirculated coins, or those with exceptional condition, can be worth more. Rare errors might make some coins much more valuable. Always consider grading for a precise valuation. USA half-quarter dollar from 1977 ***, exploring its history, design, and most importantly, its current circulated value. So, stick around, because this is going to be a fun and informative ride. The 1977 half-quarter dollar is part of the United States quarter dollar coin series. But wait, you might be wondering, what exactly is a half-quarter? Technically, the term half-quarter dollar isn't a standard denomination in U.S. currency, so today we're going to clarify what people mean by that, often referring to either a half-dollar coin or the quarter dollar itself. First, a little history. The 1977 quarter dollar coin belongs to the Washington quarter series, which started in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design was so popular, it stuck around with only minor changes. The 1977 quarter is no exception. Minted primarily for circulation, it features the classic profile of George Washington on the obverse side and the iconic eagle on the reverse. The obverse, or front, shows a detailed portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse side, you see the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both war readiness and peace. But what about its value? After all, it's a coin from 1977, almost 50 years old. Let's break down the factors that influence its value, especially in circulated condition. Generally, the value of circulated coins like the 1977 quarter depends on these key factors: condition, grade, ***. Circulated coins have been used in everyday transactions and show signs of wear. The less wear, the higher the grade and value. Mint mark ***. The 1977 quarter was minted at both the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and Denver Mint, with a D. Some collectors may prefer one mint over the other. Rarity and demand ***. Unlike older or rarer coins, the 1977 quarter isn't particularly rare, as millions were minted. Silver content ***. Unlike quarters minted before 1965, the 1977 quarter contains no silver. This impacts intrinsic metal value, so, if you have a 1977 quarter, chances are it's made from copper-nickel clad, no silver here. This means its value is mostly sentimental or collectible, not metal-based. In circulated condition, 1977 quarters are generally worth their face value, 25 cents. However, some coins with minimal wear or unique characteristics, such as errors or unusual toning, might fetch a bit more from collectors, sometimes up to a few dollars. Here's a quick tip for collectors. If your 1977 quarter has any mint errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual markings, it might be worth more. Always check with a trusted coin grading service if you think your coin has an error. For grading circulated coins, professional services use standards like good, G, very good, VG, fine, F, very fine, VF, and extremely fine, XF. Most 1977 quarters you find in circulation will grade between good and fine, and their value will hover close to face value. To sum it up, the 1977 USA quarter dollar, sometimes casually referred to as a half quarter in some collector circles, is a common coin. In circulated condition, it's usually worth 25 cents, with only special exceptions for unique errors or high grades increasing the value. But hey, every coin tells a story, and even common coins like this one connect us to history and everyday life from decades ago. So, keep collecting, keep learning, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. To truly appreciate the 1977 quarter, we need to go back almost half a century earlier, to 1932. This was the year the United States Mint introduced the Washington Quarter. It was created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, America's first president and a symbol of leadership and unity. The design was the work of John Flanagan, who crafted Washington's profile on the coin's obverse, or front side. It's a portrait so iconic that it's been largely unchanged since its first release, with some minor updates over the decades. The Washington Quarter replaced the Standing Liberty Quarter, a coin design that had been in circulation since 1916. The choice to commemorate Washington was inspired by a nationwide desire to honor a founding father who was admired not only for his military leadership but also for setting the foundation of the American presidency. The reverse of the coin features a majestic eagle, clutching arrows, and an olive branch. These elements symbolize the United States' readiness for defense, balanced with a desire for peace. From 1932 to 1964, quarters were minted with 90% silver content, giving them intrinsic metal value. However, by 1965, due to rising silver prices and coin shortages, the U.S. Mint switched to a clad composition made of copper and nickel. The 1977 quarter you hold today reflects this copper-nickel clad era. In 1977, the quarters were produced at two main facilities: the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which added a small D mint mark on the coin. This was a standard practice for many coins to identify where they were produced. The 1970s was a dynamic decade in American history, full of cultural shifts and economic challenges. The quarter dollar circulated widely in everyday transactions, from paying for groceries to vending machines and public transportation. It was a small yet essential part of daily life. Even though the 1977 quarter isn't rare or made of precious metal, it represents an important era of American coinage, the transition from silver to clad coins, and the ongoing legacy of George Washington's image on U.S. currency. The 1965 USA half-quarter dollar. We'll explore its history, design, minting details, and most importantly, its circulated value. So, if you've got one in your collection or you're thinking about picking one up, stick around because this video is packed with info just for you. First off, let's clarify what we're talking about. The term half-quarter dollar is a bit uncommon. Usually, we say quarter dollar for 25 cents, but sometimes collectors refer to half-quarters when discussing fractional coinage or transitional pieces. In this case, the 1965 quarter dollar is significant because it marks a major change in U.S. coinage. Why? Because 1965 was the first year the U.S. Mint produced quarters without silver. Before 1965, quarters were 90% silver. But due to the rising price of silver, the Mint switched to a clad composition, copper-nickel layers sandwiching a pure copper core. The 1965 quarter features the classic Washington quarter design, which has been around since 1932. The obverse shows George Washington's profile, a timeless tribute to our first president. On the reverse, you'll find an eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows above two olive branches, symbols of peace and strength. While the design didn't change in 1965, the metal composition did, and that's what really defines this coin historically. Oh, what's in a 1965 quarter? It's made of a clad sandwich, 75% copper and 25% nickel on the outside, with a pure copper core. This means no silver content at all. This change made coins cheaper to produce and helped the U.S. conserve silver. And mint marks? In 1965, mint marks were actually removed from all coins. So you won't find a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco on any 1965 quarter. They were all minted without marks in Philadelphia. Now, here's the million-dollar question. What is the value of a circulated 1965 quarter, because these coins contain no silver and were minted in huge numbers? Over 1.3 billion quarters were struck in 1965. Their value in circulated condition is generally low. For a circulated 1965 quarter, you're typically looking at face value, 25 cents, or slightly above if you sell to a collector. They're common, so they aren't rare. However, there are exceptions if the coin is in uncirculated or mint condition, like MS-65 or higher, where values can rise to a few dollars. Also, collectors sometimes look for errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual toning, which can increase value. So, why should you care about the 1965 quarter? It's a key transitional coin that marks the end of the silver era in circulating quarters. Plus, it's a great starter coin for beginners because it's easy to find and affordable. Check your coin's condition. Look at the details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. The sharper and clearer these are, the higher the grade. Grades like good, G, very fine, VF, extremely fine, EF, and mint state, MS, help you understand your coin's condition and value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1965 quarter, hit that like button and subscribe for more coin videos. Got questions about your coin collection? Drop a comment below. I love hearing from you and helping out. And if you want me to cover other coins, just let me know. Thanks for watching, and keep collecting smart.